Hi everyone, it's really nice to see you again. I'm here today to continue our series on Old Testament heroes, and this week I've got the story of Joshua to talk to you about. Now, did you see the video that Anna did last week about praying? Do you remember what it was that she was talking to us about praying about? It was about praying for courage, wasn't it? Now, this story is all about, like I said, a man called Joshua. And Joshua was a man that was full of courage. And this story is one that can teach us how we can be courageous as well. So, in the Old Testament, there was a man called Moses, who I'm sure you've heard about. Now, Moses was leading the Israelites, God's people, through the desert. And it took a really, really long time. It was taking 40 years. Moses died during this time, and a man called Joshua took over the job of leading God's people through the desert. Now, they were just getting to the edge of the desert to go to their new land that God had promised them. They'd been in this dry, dusty desert for so long. And on one day, they got to the edge of the desert, and ahead of them, they could see this beautiful green land with trees and probably springs of water and plants, and it looked lovely and cool. But there was one problem. In front of them, there was this city. Now, it wasn't like a city that you or I might think of. This city, it looked like a massive fortress in front of them. There were high walls, there were battlements all the way around the top, and I'm sure there were maybe big iron gates. There was no way of getting through this city or around it. There would have been soldiers up on top of all the walls keeping an eye on what was going on outside. And they were, I should think they were feeling really frustrated there, just the other side of Jericho, this city. There was this beautiful land that God had promised them, but right in front of them, in the way, was Jericho. Now, what were they going to do? Joshua, he'd not long been in charge of this group of people, and he was thinking, oh gosh, I thought I had this job, I was just going to lead them into the new land, and now we've got a problem. At this time, God spoke to Joshua, and he told Joshua his plan of how he was going to get his people into their new land. It was a little bit of a strange plan, but God promised to be with them, and he promised that they would be in their new land really soon if the people just did what God had said. Joshua got all the Israelites together and told them the plan. I reckon they were probably there with their swords and their spears, but this plan wasn't going to be about fighting. This plan was about being courageous. It was about trusting God and doing what God said. So, the plan was to march all the way around the city of Jericho for 7 days. Okay, they probably wondered why, but they were faithful people and they did exactly as Joshua told them. So, off they went, marching every day. I think the people of Jericho, those soldiers up in the battlements, were probably looking down thinking, what are they doing? What are they doing out there? But Joshua's people, they did it. Then, on the 7th day, the last day of their marching, Joshua said, right, now, today is the day. I want you to go out there, and as you're marching, I want you to make as much noise as you can. I want you to shout. I want you to blow horns. And they thought, well, okay, we can do that too. So that's what they did. Off they went, marching, blowing their horns, shouting, just being so loud. And do you know what happened? The walls of Jericho started crumbling and falling. They crumbled and fell to the ground until all that was left of Jericho was a pile of rocks and rubble and dust on the ground. I hope you like that story. Do you know, just as God promised to be with the Israelites as they were marching around the city, as they were looking forward to being in their promised land, God can be with us too. There's a verse that I just want to read to you that comes from the book of Joshua in the Old Testament, where this whole story is. And it's Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. This is my command. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And that's really important for us to remember, that we can be strong and courageous just like those people, because just as God was with them, he's with you too. He's with all of us. I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope you're all doing really well. We look forward to seeing you as soon as we possibly can. Okay, bye.